I'm Damien Barrett. Welcome to the 2016 wash-up for the Carlton Football Club. Going into the season, there were low expectations from most outside the club, and certainly no one would have predicted the Blues would win 7 games, Matthew Lloyd.
No, they didn't. And I remember David Parker in the pre-season came out, Damo, and said that even with Essendon losing 12 of their best players, that Carlton still have the worst list in the competition. So I think they had a solid year considering, and they were much more organised under Brendan Bolton than they had been in the past.
It's a strange year, wasn't it? They won 6 matches out of a 7-match period, but also lost 10 out of an 11-match period, and I don't know what to make of them right at the end of it.
Yeah, I think their forward line is that dysfunctional, and they have no one who will talk about who could score for them. But it just puts too much pressure on the defence and the midfield, which was a real issue for them.
Let's look at some highlights, because there were some, and Jack Silvani's debut in round 15 was the one I want to talk about, Lordo. He'd been made to wait for this moment and then really looked at home from the moment he touched the football. He missed opportunities at goal in that first particular game he had, but it didn't seem to detract from the overall performance, and there was a real buzz in the crowd, and interesting observing Grandma in the crowd there when he failed to take this opportunity to score a goal. The lip reading, have a look at it yourself, but look, there's a future there, isn't there? A real big future.
Oh, there is, because he knows where to run, and off the back of him, they've also got Charlie Curnow, who missed a bit of footy, and Harry Mackay, who's due to come back in as well. For me, that period that you just touched on, winning 6 of 7 through that period where they beat Geelong at one stage as well, plus their arch rivals here, beating the Bombers. And then they beat Collingwood later on as well through that period. Just Brendan Bolton, he was a man possessed. He was charging out there after games, and you could just see they were playing for their coach and the cause, and they could see some light at the end of the tunnel, which was brilliant. So that was an amazing period for them, considering the talent they had out there.
Yeah, it was. It sort of came out of the blue, didn't it, when it did come. Low light time, unfortunately, and I don't like doing this because I think he's a really good guy from what the Carlton people say, and they do love him down there, but Levi Casbolt's kicking, Lordo, it just has not been improved. And you've regularly commented on the need for him to be coached properly, but some of these examples we're seeing here, and this is only a sample of what happened in 2016, are just not right.
Now, I remember Sav Rocker coming out during the middle of the year. He said they couldn't pay me even $10,000 that I was on the previous year to stay at the club, and I just thought he improved last year.
Yeah.
And he just went backwards again.
Did manage a goal a game by way of average, and the Blues' leading goal kicker in this year will be Matty Wright with a low 20s figure.
Yeah, just unbelievable, that is. My low light was the loss to the Brisbane Lions in round 21. You know, after all the plaudits we gave them through that 6 out of 7 period, to lose to the Brisbane Lions, they were really poor that day. They lost 9 in a row. This was the 9th loss. They ended up losing 10 out of their last 11, as you said. They really dropped off, and Mark Murphy was significant in that. He did not play after round 10, Mark Murphy, so they lost that leadership.
Looking banged up. Time to mark this team out of 10, Lordo, and now that we've seen the full complete 22 matches, I'm only giving them a 3, just based on that poor second half. Yeah,
I've given them a 4. I think that I think they still made giant inroads, considering those bad losses at the end.
Okay, Christmas bonus time. Jacob Wiedering, the #1 draft pick, he's still on his first-year contract, Lordo, and I'm happy to give him a little bit extra, because I think particularly what he showed up until about the time it got ugly for them as a footy club, I thought his first half of the season was as good as could have possibly happened for a man who'd come in under so much scrutiny.
Oh, he's a ripper, and I think that he tied, which is normally hurt his shoulder, I think, at one period, which he probably wasn't the same after that, but no, he was absolutely magnificent. Another defender, Sam Docherty, is my Christmas bonus. Just feel that Docherty was in all Australian calculations at the halfway point, and just because of they were being under siege, he just wasn't able to attack like he did earlier in the year. So he and Cade Simpson were absolutely phenomenal cross half back for the Blues. So he's my Christmas bonus.
Stephen Silvani, since he's got to this footy club, has chopped people, and as we move into the chopping block part of this particular wash-up, there's going to be a lot more movement. I'll get the ball rolling, Lordo, and I'll let you bring it home. But 2014 recycled recruits, the names on that list there, it's going to be hard to see all of them involved in a significant future for the Blues.
I would agree with that, and they made 11 list changes last year, and on top of those ones you just named, I would make 13 this year. So down to Dick, where you got to, Damo, Jamison and Walker have retired. I would move on Wood, Gorringe, Graham, Smith, Viojo, Rainbow and Foster, some young guys. So there's so much they can do with their list moving forward. They have to improve their depth, which they haven't got.
And someone whose name is not on that list, and he's contracted for next year, is Dale Thomas. His form is just terrible, Lordo, for a man who's pulling out $750,000, $800,000 out of that footy club.
Yeah, there was a few positive signs early in the year, but just was barely cited pretty much for the back half of the season when they really needed him.
Okay, you scrounged the footage out of this season to try and find us a laugh, and have you got one for the Blues?
This is amazing. He's done this interview, Bryce Gibbs, and look at him in the backdrop there, spewing up, and some said that Kingy rammed some more stats down his throat, which caused him to do that. But it's a bit harsh on David Kingy.
No, I think he's running himself into the ground against Geelong there, Lotto. Yeah, they need to improve in so many ways, but I've got a feeling that their main quality required into terms of that for next year is just patience. I'm not convinced they've bottomed out yet, and I think there's a long road ahead, and I think they're aware of it. But look, when the banged-up Mark Murphy gets back out finally, he's nearer the end than the start, obviously, and Simpson too. I mean, warrior, but there's not a lot of footy left in him, and I just feel it's going to go backwards before it goes forwards.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. And last year they went to the draft with tall forwards, I think, and they got 3 tall forwards in Silvani, Curnow and Mackay.
Yep.
This year I think they need classy ball users. Off the back of Cripps, Murphy and Gibbs, they don't really have any second midfield group to go to. So
do you use the draft for that? Or
I think so, and it'd be interesting to see if anyone falls out, like someone else from around the age of 25. I think Delidio's too old to take at Carlton. There's no point going there, but I think midfield through the draft.
All right, tell us what happens by way of ladder movement in 2017 for the Blues.
I think they won that 7 games this year. I think they'll stagnate and around that 6 to 7 wins again next year. Yeah,
I agree. And look, I'm putting stagnate, but it may well be 4 or 5, but I don't see them screaming up or down either way. Hey, thanks, Lotto.
Thanks, Dan.
And that's the wash-up for the Blues in 2016.